But Myra, it's been forever. I'm happy that we're able to put this together. I'm super excited. I was telling everybody that was on earlier that I really love hosting these calls because it allows people a different perspective. Whether you're somebody who's working full time creating a side hustle, or you're somebody who's decided to just fully dive into entrepreneurship, business ownership, or something for themselves, just being creative. Um, for those of you who don't know, Myra and I actually went to UCSB together, fellow gaucho.
Yes.
That's where I got to meet her at, and I'm excited to introduce her to my Instagram platform and to the rest of her Instagram platform. For those of you who don't know her yet personally, but it's been a while. Tell me about yourself, Myra. What you been up to after our undergrad?
I know, right? It feels like it's been forever, but at the same time, it feels like it was just yesterday. But yeah, after undergrad, I started teaching pretty much right away. So I've been teaching. This is now like my 8th year of being an elementary teacher. I've taught kindergarten, a lot of first grade, second grade last year, and then this coming school year, I'm going to be a first grade teacher again for like the sixth time. So yeah, I've just been busy with that. I got married this past November, so my husband Eric Sanchez, he's watching, and I invited my parents to watch, my sister. So we're like, let's just, let's make this fun. And now we're living in San Diego. We have our little mini Bernie Doodle Coco, so she's my little sassy little poodle mix that I love. And yeah, we've just been living life and enjoying just, being in sunny San Diego.
Well, first and foremost, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Shout out to your husband and your parents. Thank you for
Yay.
joining.
My sister's here
Um,
too, I think.
Shout out to her as well. Um, so the reason why we decided to connect recently was because I stumbled across your LinkedIn and noticed you're building something for yourself. Tell us a
Yes,
little bit more about that.
exactly. Yeah, so this I've been thinking about it for a while about transitioning in my career path, and every time people would ask me like, "Well, what would you do if you didn't teach?" I truly never had an answer because I didn't know, and I wanted to have an answer, but I didn't want it to just say something for the sake of saying something. So I'd always respond with like, "Well, I don't know," and it wasn't until earlier this year where I was just, perusing the internet, and then I came across an ad about copywriting, and I'm like, well, what's copywriting? So I just dove into a rabbit hole and started researching what copywriting is, and because my first thought was like, oh, it's something that's really salesy, like the cringy sales stuff, like buy now, and before got 2 days, and I was like, well, I don't want to do that. But then once I started researching more, I came to see that it doesn't have to be like that. You can be writing for companies that you feel that that align with your values, and you'll be writing and something informative and compelling. So it could be like a blog, it can be an email sequence, a landing page, website copy, anything that's going to bring a target audience to that specific business and have them, take action on whatever that business wants them to do. Maybe it's to join uh, like a service or buy their product. So you are selling something, but you're not doing it in a salesy way, and you're doing it for businesses that you find that your values align with.
Hmm. Yeah, eliminate that whole sales thing. If anybody finds value in what you offer, it's a perfect fit. Um,
Yeah.
you were touching a little bit, and so this was going to kind of transition to my next question. So you stumbled upon it. You kind of started having that thought in your head about, if you weren't teaching, what you would be doing. But what really drove that decision to start pursuing this whole copyright business?
Well, I knew. Well, once I started like really, diving into like what else would I could do, what else what I would want to do. I knew like, well, what do I like to do? Like, what do I enjoy? And I've always enjoyed writing. So even when I was little, like I would be that little nerdy girl that had her Lisa Frank, ballerina notebook, and inside you, like I would just journal. Like I think I think my parents still probably have it somewhere, but it's like I was in second grade, and I would write about my day, and I just wrote and wrote, and then like preteen, I had like a diary and write. So I always enjoyed writing. So when I saw like that I could be writing things that bring interest to me, and it's informative, it can like bring quality to other people's lives. I'm like, well, that attracts me because at the end of the day, even if I don't teach, I think my foundation is I want to help people. It's like, teachers we're here to help our students. So I want to still have that as a foundation, but for it just to look differently. And I just found that more like right now I'm feeling that's bringing me more fire and inspiration, and I don't want to lose that. I feel like over time that could happen in a career, and when I felt that happening to me, I'm like, well, I'm I just turned 30, and I don't want to my fire to be taken from me so young. Like, so that's why I'm happy that I can, over time, fully transition into this, and continue that fire with still that same foundation of wanting to help others.
That's awesome. It sounds like you kind of started diving in and soul searching into your passion, because you brought up this memory from your childhood,
Yeah.
and it kind of correlates to what you're kind of transitioning to. And to speak frankly, you sound really passionate about it. That's why I love having these conversations, because you can see the joy that it brings to an individual to be able to start something new, right? Whether it be fear, some people change that fear into, desire and
Mm-hmm.
hard work and dedication. And, I could see it in you. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
But I,
And I'm happy to hear you say that you heard that from me because, we all have our moments where like, well, am I doing the right thing, or what did I get myself into? But if other people can hear it in my voice, and you're interviewing me, then it gives me even more confidence that I am doing what I should be doing.
believe me, Myra, people are rooting for you. So don't quit.
Yay.
If you ever feel like
Thanks, guys.
quitting, hit me up. I'll
Uh,
I'll talk you straight. Um, but this journey, it's not always just, flowers and cotton candy. It gets difficult, right? So
oh, yes, definitely.
there's some adversity that we face. I know for a fact that when somebody has a stable career like yourself, where you're a teacher year round, um, people start to question, Myra, why are you doing something else? Like, you're already working, you know,
Yeah.
why are you, why are you committing time to something new? What are some things that you kind of had to self-talk within yourself? And
Hmm.
what are some adversities that you've had to like overcome throughout this process so far?
I think the biggest challenge in this transition has just honestly been with myself. Like, we're our own harshest critic. So I never
Mm.
thought of myself to even ever leave teaching, one, and then two, like to even like on top of that just start a business, my own business. I never thought that would be me. So the beginning was hard with my mindset to be like, oh, I can't do that. But then I just took the leap of like, well, I'm going to take this course, and the course is not only going to be teaching me copywriting skills and techniques, but it's also going to teach me how to run my own business. And so I've been taking the course, since earlier this year. And I think as I continued going through the modules and slowly sharing my experiences with my inner circle, like my sister and my husband, like some of my close friends, my parents, that's when I started to feel more real, because I was starting to tell people what I was doing. And I was very happily surprised that everyone was more genuinely curious, not like, why are you doing that? Because I think that was my head, that people were going to be like, wow, why are you doing that? But they were the opposite. They were like, that's so cool. Tell me more. Excuse me. So I think that was the hardest part, was challenging myself and telling myself that I can do it. And like that it may not be perfect, but I'm learning. And that's all it takes, is that dedication.
Ironically, it's funny. I found that myself too, where the biggest thing to overcome is yourself and
Yes.
what you tell yourself. So a lot of positive self-talk, has always benefited me. I'm sure you have your own like kind of routine when you feel like you're stuck in a rut, how you get out of it. And it warms my heart to hear, that this is becoming a lot more normalized, because who knows where these thoughts came from, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like, people are going to judge me,
Yeah.
But it's exciting to hear when family members or friends are encouraging instead of degrading or trying to put you down. They're actually supporting you or becoming curious, right? Because becoming curious is a form of, support. You
Yeah.
were curious and you got into this rabbit hole, and now look at you, right? You're flourishing into a whole different career. I 100% believe and see through you that you can become a business owner. So I'm super excited to see where this journey takes you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That means a lot coming from like my colleagues, my people that I went to school with. So it's very nice to hear.
Let's go on to some lessons you've learned along the way. So I know you've been studying, you took a course. Is there any mentors you found along the way? What are some things that kind of keep that motivation going? Because one thing that's true, especially in entrepreneurship and in business, is there's some days when you don't feel like doing it, but you have to do it, right?
Yes, especially when you're trying to like still balance. Like I'm now the summer I felt was a lot easier because I was on summer vacation and that was solely my only focus. But now that we're in August and we're getting back into the swing of going back to school with the students, I'm starting to feel that pressure of like, okay, now I'm trying to still, um, be a teacher for right now, but I'm also still trying to continue my working on my business. So it has been challenging and trying to do everything without feeling burnt out. So I think what's helped me a lot with that has obviously been my like immediate support system. Um, Eric, my husband, has been very supportive of me doing all of this, and he's always very encouraging. My sister is very like knowledgeable in like the marketing bit, area. She actually works in marketing, so I ask her a lot of questions, and she's helped me a lot with my LinkedIn. And then just my parents, they're always just like my rock. So between my immediate support system and then the online writing community that I've joined and built connections with, that's has been another, more on the professional side, very supportive group that keeps me going because there's people who are just like me who are starting out, and there's people who have been doing this for years and they're like answering questions. And then there's always like success stories where I'll tune into some Zoom calls on what people who have been doing this for a while, where are they at now with their copywriting business. And it like blows me away and inspires me in the best way. Like, wow, they can do it. I can do it too.
And I'm glad you found those support systems, right? So I'll touch on, is it a Reddit group or is it just like a little community in the forum that you found on Facebook, or where did
So
you?
it's through my course. So the course has,
Okay.
the modules. It also has like not weekly, I would say maybe 3 times a week, there's Zoom calls on specific strategies that you can join. And if you aren't able to watch it, you can watch them later. And then there's also the community aspect of it. It's called, so I'm sure maybe some of you are aware of the site called Circle. I feel like it mimics Facebook a lot, but it's more geared towards professionals. I guess that's how I would explain it. So my writing group is on Circle, and I'll go on it almost daily, and people are posting like questions or seeking inspiration, and everyone is just very, very helpful with one another. So I think on the business side of it, that has really helped keep me going, because there are people who are just like me trying to get their copywriting business going, and that's been very helpful.
Yeah, I always like to reiterate, because I feel like I say this in every interview. It's why recreate the wheel when it's already been invented, right? So
Exactly.
you got to find somebody who's already done it, right? And Mayra shared that people come on these Zoom calls and speak about their journey, and it becomes a motivational thing, right? Kind of like what we're trying to do here. So it's important to find, like a community or find like a mentor that'll help with the guidance, because
Mm-hmm.
the business aspect, it's going to be super beneficial. And then on the family side, right, having a supporting spouse or partner, oh my gosh, it means so much. So those of you that are in a relationship or thinking about being in a relationship, be supportive. You can't tell you or stress enough how important it is and how meaningful it is, especially when we're going through it.
Oh yeah,
uh,
definitely.
So we talked about a little bit the lessons you've learned, you know, kind of like your whole step-by-step process on how you started this. Let's touch on, you know, what are some things that have been exciting so far, something new that you'd like to share that you've learned that maybe, you know, even myself, I don't know much about copywriting.
Yeah.
So give us a little, we like to say golden nugget in our group.
Let's see. So you're asking, what is my golden nugget that I've learned in copywriting?
Yeah, something exciting that you've learned along the way from the beginning to now.
I think one thing that stands out to me in copywriting is just how your words can be so powerful, you know, for better, for worse. And especially, you know, with the world that we live in, like this internet-based world, especially now with the pandemic, you're Zooming, you're looking at ads, you're on social media, and it consumes you, and that consumption can be, again, for better, for worse. So I'm like, well, I don't want to be consuming negative things. Like, there's already so many bad things in the world. I want to be consuming good things that make me feel good. So I think that's been the biggest takeaway from copywriting, is that I can write for businesses that want to do good for others. And then those words are what other people are going to be reading, whether it's on their phone, on the computer, you know, on an ad that they see. But it's, for me personally, businesses that want to make a meaningful impact on others, on other people's lives.
Yeah, I love that. And again, right, your passion starts to show again when you speak about the ownership that you want to have over your business, right? A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people, you know, will succumb to the either fast route or easy route, but it seems like you're going to stay true to what you believe in. And I always like to say, people don't care what you do until they see how much you care. And
Yeah.
I personally see that you care a lot about this. And, you know, I'm sure as you transition into it, that others will be able to see the same thing. While I open it up for questions, so if anybody has any questions, they have that little question icon on Instagram if you're on your phone, or you could drop it in the comment box. In the meantime, though, Mayra, go ahead and share with everybody where they could find you. You know, you have a website. How can they reach out?
Yeah, so I think right now the best way is my email that I've created for my business. So it's myra.g.sanchez@gmail.com. I'm sorry, myra.g.sanchez.agency@gmail.com. And then I'm currently finishing up the little kinks left on my website, so that should be ready by the end of this month. So the goal is that once that is complete by the end of August, then we start officially taking clients.
Exciting.
And then I have my LinkedIn and my Facebook, and I don't know if I can like somehow write that out, because I think me saying it is going to be a lot.
I'm gonna do you a favor, and I'm gonna put it on my YouTube. So when we share it,
Uh-huh.
there'll be hyperlinks to all that stuff.
Okay. Oh, I see. My sister put, "Can you type your email in the chat?" So would I put add a comment? Would it show?
No, go ahead. Try
Oh,
it.
I've never done this before. Okay.
No worries. If not, I could type it if you feel more comfortable. And we do have a question.
Oh yeah. Can you type it for me?
Yeah, of course. And then while I'm typing it, I'll go ahead and ask you the question. Unrelated to your business, somebody wants to know what the funniest teaching moment you've had.
The funniest teaching moment. Where do I start? I teach 6-year-olds, so it's never a boring day, to say the least. Huh. I'm trying to think. Funniest teaching moment. But right now, the first thing I can think of is when the pandemic just started and we had to all of a sudden go on Zoom. So trying to be with 6-year-olds on Zoom. We would do reading groups, and then one time when we turn on all of our screens, the first thing I see is what is that lizard called? Like a dragon, some dragon lizard that has a big like finger on their body, and that's the only thing I saw. So like what's going on? It was this kid's pet, and all the kids were like very in awe of it, right? So we didn't actually read that day.
That's hilarious.
Bearded dragon. That's what it's called. Bearded dragon.
Bearded dragon. Okay.
Yeah.
Very funny. So if nobody has any questions, I am going to ask you a question. What are some things that you're doing for yourself, um, for your own personal development outside of the course and outside of your support system?
What am I doing for myself outside of the course and support system?
Yeah, for personal like development or personal growth. Could be anything from like listening to a certain podcast, maybe just taking time to have clarity, things like that.
Um, well, I think for my self growth personally, I think it helps me a lot to, go outside, take walks. I'm a big fan of exercise, physical fitness, so I'm trying to go to the gym 3 to 4 days a week. I'll attempt what is called meditation. Not the best of it yet. I'm still practicing. But I'll like put on some meditative music while I'm stretching at the end of a workout. And I feel like all of that combined really helps with like my mental health, keeps me at peace, and just helps me like feel rejuvenated for the following day.
Yeah, thank you for sharing because we know it could be overwhelming and actually goes into the next question I see in the chat. How are you balancing, your full-time job with starting a business? Do you set aside a set amount of hours a day on working on your business? So I know you're transitioning from summer to the actual school year now. It's going to be different.
Oh
So
yeah.
how do you foresee yourself handling it?
Well, I feel like I already got like a little taste of it this week because we started, our meetings. I know we don't have students yet, but we have meetings. So at least the beginning of this month, what I've been doing is I like live by my planner. I love planners. So I'll like open up the planner for this new fresh start or new fresh week. So like that Monday. And then I like to put myself like attainable goals for each day. So I'm like, okay, on Monday, I want to accomplish, these 3 tasks for teaching. And then I'll make a line and I'll say, oh, no, then I want to accomplish these next 3 tasks for copywriting. And that's Monday. And then I'll repeat that process for the rest of the week until Friday. So I'm like a visual learner. I like to see the layout of it. And then I love the satisfaction of crossing something off. I think I've always my brain just works that way. I like schedules. I like to plan things. And that's been helpful to keep myself balanced with teaching, with copywriting, and then also time for myself and my dog and Eric.
That's awesome. Sounds like you're very structured.
Yes, I don't know, like my brain has just worked like that since day one. Ask my parents.
Yeah, and then there's people out there like that. So thank you for sharing. And then last question, what is the number one piece of advice you'd give to someone who is trying to transition to a new field?
Ooh, that's a good question. Piece of advice. I think your mindset is everything. I feel like that is going to get you a lot of places. And just like we can build ourselves up with what we're thinking, unfortunately, we can also do the opposite. And I think that's a lot of times what stops us from wanting to try something new is the fear of the unknown, or are we going to be judged, or are we going to fail? Like those were all my thoughts. And, sometimes I still have those thoughts, but I'm like, well, I'm never going to know. And I'm always going to wonder. So that's why I'm like, I'm just going to go for it. So the fact that I'm just, I mean, I took the course. I changed my LinkedIn. I started a new Instagram profile that's more business oriented. Accepting this invitation to speak with you was very nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about it all day long. But I'm happy that I'm here, and I'm happy that how far I've gotten, because I know it's only the beginning of good things to come. And seeing like you, I can see, your questions were really great, and seeing the people here to hear me, I'm like, thank you guys for being here on your I don't know what day it is, Tuesday night. Yeah, so it's good. I think mindset is key.
Yeah, I love that. And just to add, because I've had a few interviews already, and one of the ones that I loved the most was individual from Mexico said, "Créetela." So for my non-Spanish speaking friends, is believe in yourself. As as corny or as cheesy as that might sound, it does come down to that. And then it comes down to your personal mindset. And then again, right, if you need a motivational push, I'm always available. I'm sure Mayra wouldn't mind
Of course.
responding to a DM. But just as she feels supported, we want to make sure others feel that way. And that's why I've created this safe space so people are able to listen to these stories. And who knows, maybe they do decide to do something for themselves.
Yeah, and it's been good, I think once you get over that, the biggest hurdle of yourself, then you start to feel like excitement, like excited to try something new. There's no longer a fear of trying something new, it's excitement. And obviously it's not perfect, right? Like you said, there's some days where that fear wants to creep back in, but at that point your mind is just that much stronger, because you've learned so much already, you have that support system. So you can it's easily overcome those thoughts as you continue and progress.
Yeah, I love it. And again, thank you all for joining us. Mayra, thank you for your time. Wish you nothing but the best. If you need anything, reach out.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alvin. I'm so happy that you invited me to do this. It was so nice catching up with you and seeing this platform that you have for people who are starting their own businesses. I think it's really cool to hear that you're doing this, because that makes me happy. You're helping other people too, and it makes me happy to see that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You're so kind. All right, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. I'll be posting it soon. I'll share it with Mayra when I have it all uploaded.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Alvin, and thank you everyone else for coming to join and hearing us.
Bye.
Bye.